The morning sun painted golden streaks across Marcus Davidson's office high above Chicago. He had just closed the biggest deal of his career, $2 billion that would shake the business world. But as champagne glasses clinked around him, Marcus felt empty inside. Success had become his prison. His assistant's voice cut through the celebration. "Mr. Davidson, I'm sorry to interrupt. There's a child here. Little girl. She says she must see you right away." Marcus frowned. "A child? Whose child?" "She won't say, sir. She's very determined." Something in Sarah's voice made Marcus curious. "Send her in." When the door opened, Marcus saw her. She was tiny, maybe 6 years old, with bright red hair and pigtails and serious green eyes that looked strangely familiar. She held an old teddy bear in one small hand and a white envelope in the other. "Hello," Marcus said, kneeling down. "What's your name?" "Emma Collins," she said in a small but steady voice. "My mommy said I had to give this to you myself. She told me to before she went to heaven." Collins. The name hit Marcus like lightning. Jennifer Collins. His college sweetheart from Northwestern University. The woman he'd loved before money and power pulled him away. With shaking hands, he took the envelope. Inside was a letter and a photo of Jennifer holding a baby. "Emma. Marcus, if you're reading this, I've lost my fight with cancer. The doctors say I have only days left. This is Emma. She's 6 years old. She's your daughter. I never told you about her. I made that choice alone. You were building your dreams, and I didn't want to stop you. I have no right to ask anything after keeping this secret. But I have nowhere else to turn. Please take care of our daughter. I've told her about you. She knows you're her father. Please forgive me. Jennifer." Marcus looked up at the little girl, his daughter, who watched him with eyes just like his own. "Your mommy, she's gone?" he asked gently. Emma nodded, hugging her teddy bear tighter. "Last week. She said you're my daddy and you'd take care of me now." The world Marcus had built so carefully crumbled around him. 3 sleepless nights later, Marcus stared at his ceiling. Down the hall, Emma slept in the guest room while lawyers worked on custody papers. His perfect life had exploded in 72 hours. DNA tests would prove what he already knew. Those eyes, his mother's eyes, stared back at him from Emma's face. Jennifer. How long had it been? 9 years since their romance at Northwestern. He could still see her in the library, surrounded by poetry books, her red hair falling across her face as she argued about famous writers. "You can't control everything with money and power, Marcus," she told him during their last fight. "Some things matter more." He'd chosen his job on Wall Street over following her to that writing camp in Colorado. One decision that changed 3 lives forever. The next evening, Marcus sat awkwardly across from Emma at dinner. "Do you have other kids?" she asked, carefully cutting her chicken. "No," he answered. "You're my only child." "Did you love my mommy?" The question stuck in his throat. "Very much. We were young." His phone buzzed. A text from Sarah at 2 a.m. "DNA test can be rushed for extra money. Should I arrange it?" Marcus had noticed something strange in Sarah's behavior whenever Emma was around. Her eyes looked angry, her voice sounded cold. "She can't stay here forever," Sarah had whispered yesterday when Emma wasn't listening. "Your schedule doesn't work with a child. Maybe a boarding school." Marcus had silenced her with one look. Whatever happened, he wouldn't abandon his daughter to strangers. Not after Jennifer faced sickness alone. He quietly opened Emma's door. She slept holding her teddy bear, her small face peaceful under the soft glow of the nightlight he'd bought. On her bedside table sat an old book, The Little Prince, Jennifer's favorite. "I read it every night," Emma had explained. "Mommy said the little prince had to leave his rose, but he always loved her." As dawn broke over Chicago, Marcus made 2 decisions. He would be part of Emma's life no matter what. And he would find out why Jennifer had kept this secret so long. "The results are final, Mr. Davidson," Dr. Rodriguez said in his office. You are Emma's biological father. Though Marcus had known from the moment he saw her. Hearing it officially made everything real. Later, he sat in Jennifer's lawyer's small office in Denver, surrounded by family photos, so different from his cold corporate world. Jennifer was incredibly brave, the lawyer said. She was diagnosed with cancer 18 months ago. The outlook was bad from the start, but she fought hard. Why didn't she contact me? Marcus asked, the question that haunted him. The lawyer handed him another letter. Jennifer's handwriting sent him back in time. Marcus, I found out I was pregnant 2 weeks after you left for New York. I almost called you so many times. But I saw the fire in your eyes when you talked about changing the world through business. A baby would have changed everything. It wasn't fair to trap you, so I made the choice for both of us. Emma has been my greatest joy. I never regretted having her. I only regret not telling you sooner. I saved newspaper articles about your success. I told Emma her father was changing the world, just like he promised. I hope someday you can forgive me, Jennifer. Marcus folded the letter, his eyes blurry with tears. What happens to Emma now? He asked. Jennifer has no living family. Emma is staying with a neighbor, Mrs. Martinez. Jennifer's will names you as guardian. I'm taking her, Marcus said immediately. She's my daughter. That evening, he explained to Emma that she would live with him forever. Can I bring Mom's books? She asked. Of course. Whatever you want. Sarah doesn't like me, Emma said suddenly, her eyes too smart for her age. Marcus froze. Why do you say that? She looks at me like I'm a problem to solve. Mom taught me to notice how people look at things they don't want. Out of the mouths of children, Marcus thought, realizing his daughter saw more clearly than he did. For the third time this week, Marcus sat in his car outside Mrs. Martinez's apartment in Denver, watching Emma through the window. She was coloring at the kitchen table, her tongue sticking out in concentration. Each time, he watched his daughter from far away before getting brave enough to go inside. In his briefcase were parenting books with highlighted passages and sticky notes. Between business calls, he'd talk to child psychologists about helping a sad child adjust to a new home. Finally, he walked to the building. You brought books, Emma exclaimed when he entered, spotting children's stories in his bag. I thought we could read together, Marcus said, sitting awkwardly on the small couch. Mom always did different voices for characters, Emma told him, picking a book about a lost rabbit. For an hour, Marcus read, trying silly voices that made Emma giggle despite herself. He learned she loved strawberries but hated bananas, preferred purple over pink, and had named her teddy bear Professor because he looked smart. Meanwhile, across town, Sarah Thompson sat in Davidson Industries' executive dining room with CFO Robert Williams. Marcus missed the investor call today, she mentioned casually. Third meeting this week. He's distracted with this sudden family situation. How serious is it? Williams frowned. He's rearranging his entire schedule. The Peterson deal might suffer. Sarah sighed. It's concerning. I'm handling things until he gets his focus back. As she spoke, Sarah deleted Marcus's meeting reminder, replacing it with Emma's school tour. I hope this child situation ends quickly, Williams muttered. The board won't accept distractions. We can only hope, Sarah agreed, her worried look hiding the scheming behind her eyes. This is a big day for both of you, said Ms. Chen, the social worker, as Emma entered Marcus's penthouse with her small suitcase. Remember, changes take time. Emma wore a blue dress with tiny butterflies that Jennifer had bought for special occasions. Welcome home, Emma, Marcus said, immediately regretting how formal he sounded. Ms. Chen reviewed the final papers while Emma stood quietly in the huge living room, her eyes traveling up to the tall ceilings and windows overlooking Chicago. It's very high up here, she finally said. Yes, we're pretty high up, Marcus agreed, grateful for any conversation. After Ms. Chen left, father and daughter faced each other in uncomfortable silence. Are you hungry? Marcus asked. Emma shook her head. Thirsty. Another shake. Would you like to see the rest of the apartment? Small nod. Marcus led her through rooms designed to impress visitors rather than feel like home. The kitchen he rarely used. The dining room that sat 16 people. The home theater with leather chairs. Where do you eat breakfast? Emma asked, her voice small in the vast space. Usually at my desk, Marcus admitted. Sometimes I don't eat breakfast. Emma looked shocked. Mom says breakfast is the most important meal. We always had pancakes on Sundays. We could have pancakes on Sundays too, Marcus offered quickly. When they reached the guest bedroom he'd hastily prepared, Emma placed Professor Bear carefully on the king-sized bed that looked huge compared to her small frame. Is this my room now? She asked. Yes. If you like it, we can redecorate however you want. Emma opened her suitcase and took out a framed photo of Jennifer, placing it on the nightstand. Mom said to put her picture where I sleep so she can still say goodnight. Marcus's throat tightened. That's a perfect spot. Later, as he tucked her in, an awkward process involving negotiations about lights and story time, Marcus realized how completely unprepared his luxury apartment was for a child. Is that lady your girlfriend? Emma asked suddenly. What lady? The one with the angry eyes. Sarah. Marcus couldn't help but smile. No, she's my assistant. She helps me with work. She doesn't like children, Emma stated with certainty. As Marcus turned out the light, leaving the door cracked open as requested, he wondered how much else his daughter had already noticed that he had missed. By the third week, they'd found a routine. Mornings meant Marcus making breakfast while Emma sat at the kitchen counter, swinging her legs and explaining the complicated world of first grade. Jessica M isn't talking to Jessica P because Jessica P said unicorns aren't real, she told him while carefully arranging blueberries on her oatmeal into a smiley face. A serious problem, Marcus agreed, earning a rare giggle. He'd enrolled her at the fancy Lincoln Academy, hired a driver for school, and rearranged his schedule for parent-teacher conferences. Emma has extraordinary talent in math, Mrs. Jackson had told him. Quite advanced for her age. That's unexpected, Marcus had replied, though he'd excelled in math himself. Now, as Emma practiced ballet positions in the living room, using his expensive sofa as a practice bar, Marcus noticed how her eyebrows scrunched in concentration exactly like his did during difficult business deals. Mom said I get my serious face from my father, Emma commented, catching his observation. She said you could think harder than anyone she ever met. Your mother was the smartest person I knew, Marcus admitted. She could remember entire poems. Emma nodded seriously. She read poetry when she was sick. The doctors gave her medicine that made her tired, but she still read to me every night. She tried an arabesque, wobbling slightly. Mom came to every dance show even when she needed her oxygen tank. Marcus's chest felt tight. I'd like to see you dance sometime. I have a recital next Thursday, Emma said carefully. If you're not too busy. I'll be there, Marcus promised immediately. That evening, after putting Emma to bed, Marcus opened his laptop to find several alarming emails. Business meetings had been rescheduled without his knowledge. 2 major investors wanted urgent meetings about concerning developments. A text from his CFO read, "Board members questioning your commitment. Sarah says you're canceling important meetings for school events." Marcus frowned, scrolling through his calendar. Several key appointments had indeed been moved or deleted, changes he hadn't authorized. From Emma's room came the sound of quiet crying. Marcus closed his laptop, the company crisis suddenly less important than the more immediate one down the hall. He found her holding her mother's photograph, tears streaming down her face. "I miss her," Emma whispered. Marcus sat gently on the edge of the bed. "I know. I miss her too." For the first time, he simply held his daughter while she cried, corporate problems forgotten. "I have something to show you," Emma announced one evening after dinner, her voice unusually serious. Marcus looked up from his tablet where he'd been reviewing business reports. "What is it?" Emma disappeared into her room, returning with a wooden box decorated with painted stars. She placed it carefully on the coffee table. Mom made this for me before she got really sick. She called it my memory box. Marcus set his work aside. May I see? Emma nodded, lifting the lid. Inside lay carefully organized treasures. Seashells from beach trips, ticket stubs from children's shows, drawings, and a stack of sealed envelopes. These are for when I'm older, Emma explained, pointing to envelopes labeled 16th birthday, first day of high school, and wedding day. Mom wrote me letters for important days she knew she'd miss. Marcus's throat tightened as Emma pulled out a small photo album. This is us, she said, showing him pictures of Jennifer and Emma through the years. Birthday parties, Halloween costumes, first day of school photos. Jennifer's illness was visible in the later pictures, her bright beauty fading as sickness took hold, though her smile never changed when looking at their daughter. You have her smile, Marcus said softly. But I have your eyes, Emma replied. Mom always said so. She reached deeper into the box and pulled out another envelope, yellowed with age, addressed simply to Marcus. Mom said if we ever found you, I should give you this too. With trembling fingers, Marcus opened the letter dated 7 years earlier. Marcus, I'm watching our daughter sleep. She just turned 1 and already she has your determination. When she decides she wants a toy, nothing stops her. I almost called you today. I got as far as your company's phone number before hanging up. You're making headlines with your work in clean energy, changing the world just like you promised. Child would have changed that path, that drive. Maybe it was selfish to keep her to myself. But when I see what you're building, I believe I made the right choice for all of us. I don't regret a moment with our daughter. I only hope someday you'll understand why I loved you enough to let you go. Jennifer. Marcus looked up to find Emma studying his face. Did that make you sad? She asked. Yes, he admitted. But it's an important kind of sad. Your mother was protecting both of us in her way. She saved all your newspaper pictures, Emma said, pulling out a folder of clipped articles about Davidson Industries' success. She said you were building something important. Later that night, Marcus stared at his laptop screen. The billion-dollar deal that had consumed him for months suddenly seemed empty compared to the time he'd lost with his daughter. Time he could never get back. Marcus straightened his tie nervously outside Lincoln Academy's auditorium. For someone who regularly spoke to intimidating boardrooms, he felt strangely anxious surrounded by chattering parents holding flowers and cameras. Mr. Davidson, Mrs. Jackson approached with surprise. We didn't expect you. Your assistant called to say you had an emergency board meeting. Marcus frowned. There's no board meeting. I specifically cleared my schedule. Inside, he found himself squeezed between a police officer and a mother who introduced herself as Sophie's mom before launching into ballet talk Marcus couldn't follow. First recital? The officer asked, noticing Marcus's discomfort. We've all been there. I'm Officer Mike, Katie's dad. Marcus, Emma's father. The word still felt new. Emma's great. Helps Katie with math homework, Mike said. Jennifer raised a wonderful kid. The lights dimmed before Marcus could respond, saving him from explaining his sudden appearance in Emma's life. The first graders appeared in pale pink tutus, some giggling, others serious with concentration. Marcus spotted Emma immediately. Her posture perfect, her face determined. Unlike some children who waved at parents or forgot steps, Emma danced with quiet precision. Something unexpected swelled in Marcus's chest as he watched his daughter dance. A fierce pride completely different from closing successful deals or seeing his company's stock price rise. When the show ended, Marcus stood with the other parents, clapping until his hands hurt. Backstage, children reunited with parents amid congratulations and flowers. Emma emerged, scanning the crowd anxiously until she spotted him. Her face transformed with surprise and joy as she ran toward him. You came, she exclaimed. You really came. Of course, Marcus said, kneeling to her level. I promised, didn't I? For the first time, Emma threw her arms around his neck in a spontaneous hug. Over her shoulder, Marcus noticed a familiar figure at the auditorium entrance. Sarah, her face tight with displeasure when she saw them. "Your ballet shoes are getting worn," he told Emma, deliberately turning away from his assistant. "Maybe we should shop for new ones this weekend. Pink ones with ribbons." Emma asked, eyes widening. "Any kind you want," Marcus promised, realizing he would gladly trade any business victory for the smile currently lighting up his daughter's face. As they left hand in hand, he glimpsed Sarah watching them, her phone raised as if taking photos. Something in her expression made him pull Emma closer protectively. "Can we get ice cream?" Emma asked, unaware of the tension. "Absolutely," Marcus replied, making another easy promise he fully intended to keep. Sunday morning found Marcus in his rarely used kitchen, flour dusting his business school t-shirt as he consulted a pancake recipe on his tablet. "Not like that," Emma said, climbing onto a stool. "Mom always added vanilla and cinnamon." "Show me," Marcus offered, stepping aside. With serious concentration, Emma measured ingredients with the precision of a scientist. "Sunday pancakes were our special thing," she explained. "Even in the hospital, Mom would sneak pancakes when the nurses weren't looking." Their first attempt burned. The second stuck to the pan. By the third, they'd made something edible, which they ate at the dining table Marcus had previously used only for business negotiations. "We need a proper tradition calendar," Emma declared afterward, getting a notebook. Together they created a schedule. Sunday pancakes, Tuesday movie nights, Saturday park visits. Marcus added stargazing after discovering Emma's fascination with stars. "Mom and I used to look at stars from our apartment roof," she explained. "She said when people leave us, they become stars so they can always watch over us." That evening, Marcus surprised Emma by transforming the penthouse terrace with pillows and blankets. As Chicago's lights glowed below, he pointed out constellations using a stargazing app. "That bright one is Polaris," he explained. "The North Star. Sailors used it to find their way home." "Like a forever light," Emma murmured. "Do you think Mom can see us?" Marcus's throat tightened. "I think she can." Emma leaned against his shoulder. "We used to have hot chocolate on stargazing nights." "We can do that too," Marcus said, making a mental note to buy hot chocolate supplies. As Emma drifted to sleep that night, Marcus checked his emails to find several alarming messages. A major investor had pulled out, citing concerning rumors about leadership distraction. His quarterly presentation had been moved to conflict with Emma's parent-teacher conference. More disturbing was an email thread that accidentally included him, where Sarah wrote to board member Williams. "He's completely lost focus since this child appeared. I'm managing damage control, but the timing couldn't be worse with the Sullivan deal pending." Marcus closed his laptop, unsettled. His company, the empire he'd built from nothing, apparently faced threats he hadn't even recognized, orchestrated by someone he'd trusted completely for years. Yet as he checked on his sleeping daughter, her small hand curled around Professor Bear, he found himself caring more about their new tradition calendar than corporate problems for the first time in his career. 6 months later, Marcus sat in his home office surrounded by reminders of his former life. Awards, financial reports, deal summaries. Soon these would be packed away as they prepared to move to their new house, a real home with a yard where Emma could have a proper garden. On his desk sat Emma's latest art project, a family portrait showing them in their future garden, stick figures with huge smiles. Beside it lay the quarterly report showing Davidson Industries stock had reached an all-time high. Both represented success, but only one represented happiness. His phone buzzed with a message from his newly appointed team ready for tomorrow's Sullivan signing. "Everything on track." Marcus sent a brief reply, then opened his calendar to confirm he'd blocked time for Emma's science fair the following week. The empire he'd built could adapt to his new priorities. And if it couldn't, he'd learned he could walk away without regret. In the quiet apartment, Marcus checked on his sleeping daughter one final time. The soft glow from her star-filled ceiling cast gentle patterns across her peaceful face, so much like Jennifer's. "We're doing okay," he whispered, a message for both Jennifer and himself. She's teaching me something new every day. Emma stirred slightly, her hand touching the heart locket that contained photos of both her parents, a gift from the father she'd been prepared to face alone but hadn't needed to. Marcus Davidson, once defined solely by the company that bore his name, gently closed his daughter's door, knowing that the life they were building together was his true legacy, more valuable than any empire of steel and glass. The morning sun painted new possibilities across their future, and for the first time in his life, Marcus understood what truly mattered. Not the deals or the money or the power, but the small hand that trusted him, the voice that called him Dad, and the love that had transformed his empty success into something real and lasting. Emma had entered his office with a letter one ordinary morning. One sentence had changed both their lives forever. She's your daughter. And in finding each other, they'd found their way home.